The English. Making English easy with quick tips.
The deep dive.
Okay.
So let's just dive straight in. Today, we're shifting gears a little. Instead of the usual really complex stuff, we're doing something a bit more, well, playful.
Bit lighter, maybe?
Exactly. We're exploring British slang.
Slang. Always fascinating. It's, that informal layer of language.
It really is.
And it tells you so much about a culture, how people interact, what they find funny, even their unwritten rules sometimes.
Definitely. And our source for this exploration, it's excerpts from a document focusing specifically on British slang terms.
Okay.
All starting with the letter A. It gives definitions, example sentences, the whole lot.
Sounds useful. So what's the plan?
Well, the mission, if you like, is to pull out some interesting bits, maybe some surprising things about British English, just from these A words.
Like a quick cultural snapshot through slang.
Yeah, exactly. A quick, hopefully entertaining way for you, the listener, to get a bit more clued in.
Ready?
Let's do it. Always interesting to see why certain words catch on.
Right then. First up, ace.
Ace. Our source says ace means excellent or very good. Simple enough?
Mm-hmm.
Examples are things like, that new album is absolutely ace, or she's an ace footballer.
Right, top quality.
And just simple appreciation. Thanks for sorting that out, your ace.
Uh,
So pretty straightforward, positive adjective.
It is, and it's so efficient, isn't it?
How do you mean?
Well, it's just one syllable, ace. Packs a real punch of positivity. Maybe that reflects a bit of that British directness, or just getting to the point with enthusiasm.
Yeah, I see that. It's definitely quicker than saying exceptionally good.
Much quicker.
Okay, moving on. Aggro.
Aggro. Right away you hear aggressive in there.
Exactly. The definition is aggressive behavior or trouble.
Makes sense.
Examples. We decided to leave the pub before any aggro kicked off, or there was a bit of aggro at the match.
Yeah, typical situations.
And this one's relatable. I really can't be bothered with all the aggro first thing in the morning.
No,
It
definitely.
really sounds like something you actively want to avoid.
Yes, and notice how informal it is. You wouldn't write aggro in, say, a police report.
Not likely, no.
But it perfectly captures that feeling of, potential trouble, unpleasantness in everyday terms. Very down to earth.
Does it suggest maybe a desire to downplay conflict? Just call it aggro and move on?
Could be. Or at least a way to refer to it without making a huge deal out of it, perhaps. Sidestepping it.
Interesting thought. Okay, next. All right. Now this one. This one feels quite culturally specific.
Ah, yes. The greeting.
The source says it's a greeting, meaning how are you? But, and here's the interesting part.
The response, or lack thereof.
Precisely. We've got, all right, mate, long time no see. Okay, seems normal. Then he just wandered in and said, all right, still okay.
Mm-hmm.
But then you walk past someone on the street and just say, all right, no response expected. That's the key bit.
Yeah, that often throws people who aren't used to it.
Totally. In many places, if you ask, how are you,
Sure.
you expect some kind of answer, even if it's just fine.
But here, it can just be an acknowledgement, like a nod, but verbal.
A verbal nod. I like that.
It's like saying, I see you, without opening the door to a mandatory chat. Maybe it's that balance between politeness and respecting personal space.
That makes a lot of sense, actually, acknowledging without intruding. Okay, let's look at anorak.
Anorak, right. Not just the coat.
No, definitely not just the coat. The source defines it as a person with obsessive interests, often boring to others.
Ooh, a bit harsh.
It is a bit. Examples. He's a bit of an anorak when it comes to collecting vintage train timetables.
Okay, specific.
Or this one with self-awareness. I don't want to sound like a total anorak, but did you know this car? You know the type.
Absolutely, someone really into their niche.
And we'll need someone who's a real anorak for old computer systems. So it implies deep knowledge, but with that slight edge.
Yes, there's definitely a negative or at least slightly mocking connotation there. It suggests the enthusiasm is maybe excessive, socially awkward even.
Right, not just passionate, but potentially boring everyone else with it.
It's an interesting take on how niche interests are viewed, perhaps with a bit of wry amusement.
Okay, brace yourself. Next is arse.
Ah, a foundational word in British slang, some might say.
Indeed. The source gives two main uses. Buttocks, basically, and as an insult.
A versatile term.
Very. Example 1, he slipped, landed right on his arse. Just descriptive, no insult intended.
Nope, just anatomy and gravity there.
But then Don't be such an arse. Lend me a hand. Clearly an insult.
Clearly, calling someone a fool, essentially.
And she's been sitting on her arse all day, implying laziness. Also insulting.
Yeah, definitely carries a negative judgment there.
So context and tone are absolutely everything with this word.
Crucial. It really highlights how one word can shift meaning dramatically. And maybe, points to a certain comfort level with slightly vulgar terms in casual chat.
Seems likely. Now, building on that, arse about face.
Right, doing something backwards.
Exactly. Wrong way round. Examples. You've put those shelves up completely arse about face.
You can just picture them upside down or back to front.
Totally. Or, that's not how you connect those wires. You've got an arse about face.
A common DIY problem, perhaps.
And the whole project plan is arse about face, meaning fundamentally flawed.
It's very visual, isn't it? About face adds that sense of complete reversal. It's descriptive, maybe a bit humorous, too.
Definitely humorous. And then there's the spectacularly named arse over tit.
Oh, yes, a classic.
Meaning falling over dramatically or clumsily.
Very dramatically. Head over heels, basically.
The examples are vivid. He tripped and went arse over tit in front of the bus queue.
Oh, the public humiliation.
She lost her footing on the ice and went arse over tit.
You could almost hear the thud.
And inevitably, after a few too many pints, he ended up going arse over tit on the dance floor.
Happens to the best of us, perhaps.
It's such a strong image.
Yeah.
Quite funny, visually, even if the fall itself wasn't. Very informal, very theatrical.
Absolutely memorable. You know exactly what kind of fall it describes.
Right. Now for a more direct insult. Arsehole.
Okay, stepping it up a notch.
Defined simply as a rude or mean person. Examples. Don't be such an arsehole, just apologize.
Direct instruction there.
That driver who cut me off was a complete arsehole.
Common usage, that one. Road rage fuel.
And general description, just ignore him. He's an arsehole to everyone.
Yeah, no ambiguity there. It's a strong insult.
Pretty universally understood, I think, though maybe the impact varies. Definitely reserved for when someone's being genuinely unpleasant.
Agreed. Not one for polite company, generally.
Okay, let's cleanse the palate slightly. Aubergine.
Ah, the vegetable clarification.
Yes, the source includes this, just a note, it's the British English word for eggplant. Purely vocabulary.
Important distinction for shopping lists.
Indeed. Examples. Grilled aubergine, aubergines for a curry, and that's not an eggplant, it's an aubergine.
Simple, straightforward difference, like pavement and sidewalk.
Exactly. A reminder of those transatlantic variations.
It's funny how those little differences persist.
It is. Okay, back to the more colorful stuff. A load of bollocks.
Right, meaning nonsense, rubbish.
Pretty much. Examples. That excuse he gave was a complete load of bollocks.
Strong disagreement there.
He told us he'd won the lottery, but it sounded like a load of bollocks.
Total disbelief.
And about a policy. This new rule is just a load of bollocks.
Expressing contempt or dismissal. It's very informal, very dismissive.
And bollocks itself is vulgar, so the whole phrase packs quite a punch.
Definitely not for formal settings. A very blunt way to call something untrue or ridiculous.
Got it. And finally, a bit dodgy.
Ah, the art of understatement.
Totally. It means slightly suspicious, unsafe, or just off.
That a bit is doing a lot of work there.
It really is. Examples. That fish smells a bit dodgy. Good warning.
Yeah, trust your nose on that one.
The bloke selling watches
Hmm.
looked a bit dodgy, raising suspicion.
No gut feeling.
And we booked a hotel online that turned out to be a bit dodgy, so we left. Understated problem.
A bit dodgy could mean anything from slightly unclean to actively dangerous in that context.
Exactly. It's that classic British understatement, isn't it? Expressing concern without seeming, well, overly dramatic.
Yes, a bit softens it, but dodgy still sends a clear warning signal. Something's not right.
A very culturally specific way of communicating unease.
Definitely.
Well, that's our quick tour through some A-list British slang. Quite a range, wasn't it?
It really was. From simple positives like ace, through greetings, insults of varying strength.
Ways of describing mistakes and falls and expressing doubt.
It just shows how much is packed into informal language. It's a real window into, how people see things, how they interact.
What they find funny, what they disapprove of.
Exactly, those subtle nuances of communication.
So maybe something for you, the listener, to ponder. Think about these A terms we've discussed. How might those subtle differences in meaning or usage shape a conversation or how people understand each other in different situations?
Yeah, and maybe think about other words or phrases, even seemingly simple ones in any language you know. What hidden cultural weight might they carry?
It could be interesting just to pay a bit more attention to the informal language around you. You might be surprised what cultural insights you uncover.
Keep practicing, keep improving. See you in the next lesson. Subscribe for more. Welcome to Simply English, making English easy with quick tips.
Welcome to the Deep Dive.
Great to be here.
Today we're jumping into British slang. Specifically, some really common terms starting with the letter B.
Yeah, there are loads of interesting ones. They tell you quite a bit about, the culture and how language evolves.
Absolutely. So our mission today isn't just about dictionary definitions. We want to get under the skin of these words, their feel, maybe their origins, what they really mean in context.
Exactly. Go beyond just knowing the word.
You might find some surprises, even if you think you know your British slang.
Yeah.
Right, let's kick things off. First, B word, barmy.
Barmy. Okay, so barmy basically means crazy or eccentric.
Right.
But it's interesting how it's used. Like you might say, he must be barmy to swim in this freezing water. That's kind of foolish, crazy.
Yeah, impulsive.
Impulsive. Exactly. Then there's like, that's a barmy idea. There's no way it'll work. That feels more like maybe whimsical, not really thought through. And if someone goes completely barmy when they see a mess, that sounds more like losing their temper,
Like flipping out.
Yeah. But what's key, I think, is it often has this slightly lighter, maybe humorous edge. It's not usually describing someone seriously dangerous.
That's a really good point. It's like calling something a bit mad, but,
Yeah.
playfully. Not super judgmental.
Spot on. Playful is a good word.
Okay, next up, something that sounds, well, much nicer. Bee's knees.
Ah, the bee's knees. Yeah, this one means something or someone is just outstanding. Excellent.
The best, basically.
Pretty much the top tier. Like that new cafe is the bee's knees best coffee I've had in ages. Ultimate approval, right?
Definitely.
Or he thinks he's the bee's knees since he got that promotion. There's maybe a touch of teasing there, but still acknowledging they think they're great.
Right, yeah. Bit of swagger.
And these shoes are the bee's knees, stylish and comfy, just perfect, hits all the marks.
So where does it come from? Bee's knees. It sounds so random.
It is a bit odd, isn't it?
I agree.
Seems it popped up around the 1920s. There was this trend for, like, nonsensical phrases meaning excellent.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, like the cat's pajamas. Maybe it's the idea of something small and perfectly formed, like a bee's joint. Honestly, the origin's a bit murky, but the meaning, crystal clear. It's the absolute best.
It really paints a picture, doesn't it? That feeling of, yep, this is it. Okay, right. Let's switch gears. Quite dramatically, bellend.
Oof, yeah, bellend. This one's, it's vulgar. Straight up.
No messing about.
No, it's an insult. Means someone's stupid, annoying, a complete idiot, basically.
Right.
The examples say it all, really. Don't be such a bellend. Listen to what I'm saying. It's harsh.
Very direct.
Totally. Or calling someone who, say, parks across two spaces that bellend. Pure frustration and annoyance.
Yep, I can pick
And
that.
saying someone's acting like a total bellend. Yeah, you know exactly what that person thinks. It's strong contempt.
So definitely not one to use lightly. Highlights the sharper side of slang.
Absolutely. It's meant to be offensive.
Okay. Let's move to something a bit milder, maybe. Blimey, I hear this one quite a bit.
Blimey. Yeah, classic British exclamation. It's all about surprise or, a bit of shock.
Like a reaction word?
Exactly. Very versatile. Blimey, that was a close call. Reacting to danger or relief. Blimey, you've grown since I last saw you. Just pure surprise at a change.
Right.
Or, blimey, it's absolutely chucking it down outside. Expressing amazement at, heavy rain.
But it's just an interjection. Doesn't carry much negativity.
Generally not, no. It's more about the unexpectedness, a way to just punctuate that moment of wow.
Got it. Sort of a slightly more old-fashioned wow, maybe?
Kind of, yeah. Or, goodness me, it has that feel.
Okay, let's tackle another really, really common one. Bloody.
Bloody. The infamous intensifier, it's basically used for emphasis, right? Technically a mild expletive.
Mild now, maybe.
Well, yeah, its history is interesting. It used to be much stronger, supposedly, by Our Lady. Quite offensive back then.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, but over time it softened a lot. Now it mostly just adds force to whatever you're saying.
Like in the examples.
Exactly. That was a bloody brilliant performance. means really brilliant.
Uh-huh.
I'm bloody tired after that hike means extremely tired.
Right.
Or calling someone a bloody nuisance sometimes just emphasizes how annoying they are.
So it just amps things up a bit.
Pretty much. Still might be frowned upon in, like, super formal situations, but generally quite common and fairly tame now.
Language evolution right there. Amazing how words lose their punch.
Yeah.
Okay, next, a very practical one. Bog.
The bog. Yep. Straightforward one. This means toilet.
Simple as that.
Simple as that. Very common, very direct. I'm just popping to the bog, be right back. Everyone knows what you mean.
Okay.
Or, praising a pub for having the cleanest bogs I've ever seen.
High praise indeed.
Huh, yeah. Or the desperate plea. Where's the bog in this place? I'm bursting. No messing around with euphemisms. It's just the bog.
No ambiguity there. Which actually leads us quite nicely to the next one, which sounds kind of related. Bog standard.
Bog standard. Yeah, it does sound related, doesn't it? It means ordinary, unremarkable, basic.
So, not fancy at all.
Not at all. Think it's just a bog standard phone, not fancy, but it works, does the job, nothing more.
Yeah.
Or the hotel was bog standard, nothing special, just average, maybe even a bit disappointing if you expected more.
Right. Managed expectations.
And a bog standard reply is just, predictable.
Yeah.
Dull, nothing interesting.
So it implies something is just adequate, just the basic minimum.
Exactly. That sense of meh. It's functional, but completely lacking flair or anything special. Just standard. Bog standard.
Gotcha. Right. Let's inject a bit more energy now. Bonkers.
Bonkers. Now, this one's fun. It means mad or crazy, but usually in a more energetic or fun way than barmy.
Okay, so similar to barmy, but different flavor.
Yeah, definitely different flavor. Like, she's absolutely bonkers about that band. That implies intense enthusiasm, maybe a bit obsessive, but in an excited way.
Right, like a super fan.
Exactly. Or, that idea sounds bonkers, but it might work. That suggests it's wild, maybe risky, but possibly brilliant craziness.
High risk, high reward, kind of crazy.
Sort of, yeah. And a party being bonkers nonstop dancing. That sounds like chaotic fun, right? Exciting, maybe overwhelming, but fun.
So less about being foolish, more about being wildly energetic or unconventional.
I think that's a good way to put it. Bonkers often has that thrill or excitement attached. You wouldn't usually call a boring meeting bonkers.
Good distinction. Barmy, a bit silly, foolish. Bonkers, energetic, exciting madness. Okay. Next, bottle. This one's interesting.
The bottle, yes.
Huh.
This refers to courage, nerve, bravery.
Courage, right.
And you often hear it in the negative, actually. Like, he lost his bottle just before the speech. Means he lost his nerve, got scared.
Ah, okay.
Or you might say, takes a lot of bottle to stand up to him, acknowledging someone's bravery.
So having bottle is a good thing.
Definitely. It's a compliment. But saying someone bottled it, like she bottled it at the last second and ran off, means they chickened out. Failed because they lacked courage.
So it's specifically about nerve in a challenging situation.
Precisely. That inner strength or lack thereof.
Got it. Okay, nearly there. Let's talk about the very flexible bugger.
Ah, bugger. Yeah, flexible is the word. It's another mild expletive, but its meaning really shifts with the context and, importantly, the tone of voice.
Oh, so...
Well, you could stub your toe and say, oh, bugger. That's just annoyance, right?
Right, like that.
Exactly. Or you might see a kid being mischievous and say, a little bugger ran off with my hat. That could be annoyed, but maybe also a bit fond. Or exasperated.
Yeah, it depends how you say it.
Totally. And then there's the kind of resigned use. Bugger it, let's just order a takeaway instead. That's like giving up, changing plans.
Oh, forget it.
Yeah. So it can be annoyance, a slightly cheeky term for a person, or just throwing in the towel. Very versatile little word.
Delivery's everything with that one then.
Absolutely key.
Okay, last one on our B list, and this one takes us into Cockney territory. Butcher's hook.
Butcher's hook. Right. Classic Cockney rhyming slang.
So how does that work again?
Well, Cockney rhyming slang replaces a word with a phrase that rhymes with it. So butcher's hook rhymes with...
Look.
Exactly. So if you have a butcher's, you have a look.
Ah, clever.
It is, isn't it? So have a butcher's at this. It's hilarious. Just means have a look. Or go on, take a butcher's.
And tell me what you think.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And sometimes, like with butchers, they even shorten the rhyming phrase. You don't always need to say butcher's hook. Just butchers is enough for people to understand look.
It's like a little code.
Kind of, yeah. Part of the fun of it. A very London thing, historically.
Really interesting, like a linguistic shortcut with its own history.
So that's our run-through. Barmy, bee's knees, bellin, blimey, bloody, bog standard, bonkers, bottle, bugger, and butchers. Wow.
Quite a mix, isn't it? From the offensive to the complimentary, the practical to the just plain weird.
It really is. And you see how they capture different moods, different attitudes. It's a real snapshot of, everyday British chat. Definitely. Language isn't static, is it? And slang is where you really see it buzz and change. It shows humor, history, like with the rhyming slang.
So hopefully for you listening, that's demystified some of these B words a bit. Maybe sparked some thoughts.
Yeah, maybe you heard one that surprised you or one you use all the time without thinking much about it.
And it does make you wonder, doesn't it, about all the other slang and shortcuts in different places, different languages. The sheer creativity involved in how we talk informally.
Absolutely. It's endlessly fascinating. Hopefully next time you hear someone talking about the bog or saying something's bonkers, you'll have that extra layer of understanding.
Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the B's of British slang.
Been a pleasure.
Until next time.
Keep practicing, keep improving. See you in the next lesson. Subscribe for more. Welcome to Simply English, making English easy with quick tips.
Welcome to the deep dive.
Great to be here.
Today, we're diving into British English. Specifically, some really common slang terms that all kick off with the letter C.
Right. We've got a list here, haven't we?
Yeah.
Meanings, examples.
Exactly. Pulled from a document outlining them. And our mission, if you will, is to, understand these terms better, see how they're used.
And maybe get a sense of what they tell us about British culture, too.
Precisely. So, let's get stuck in, shall we?
Yeah, it's interesting just looking at these C words, how much variety there is already.
Totally agree. Okay, first up, chuffed.
Ah, chuffed. Good one.
It just means you're pleased, maybe proud about something. The examples we have are like, I was proper chuffed when I passed my driving test.
Right. A common one.
Or, she looked chuffed to bits with her birthday gift. And he's chuffed about landing that BBC job.
It's got that slightly understated feel, hasn't it? Happy, but not, shouting from the rooftops, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Like a quiet satisfaction. It taps into that maybe reserved British way of showing pleasure.
Could be. Less overt, perhaps.
Okay, next. Cheeky. Now this one's fun.
Dual meaning, this one.
Right. It can be sort of playfully rude, like don't get cheeky with your mom. A bit disrespectful, but not seriously.
Yeah, lighthearted.
But then you've got fancy a cheeky pint after work, which is more about doing something a bit spontaneous.
Maybe slightly indulgent. Something you shouldn't really do.
Exactly. Or even just like a cheeky wink. That's just playful flirting, isn't it?
It definitely. Context is key with cheeky. It's that British humor again, a bit of gentle irreverence.
Okay, moving on. Codswallop. I just love saying it.
It sounds like what it means, doesn't it?
It really does. It just means nonsense. Rubbish.
Like, that conspiracy theory is absolute codswallop.
Perfect example. Or, he talks a load of codswallop after a few pints. We've all known someone like that, maybe.
And what she said about me was pure codswallop. It's just a great informal way to dismiss something.
Without being too harsh, maybe.
Yeah, informal, but quite clear. You know exactly what they mean.
Right. Okay, something more positive now. Cracking.
Ah, cracking. Simple, effective.
Means excellent. Very good. That was a cracking game last night.
Or she's a cracking cook. High praise.
Totally. And we had a cracking time at the festival. It's just a straightforward, enthusiastic thumbs up, really.
Yep. No ambiguity there. Just means great.
Now, you can't really talk British English without mentioning this next one. Cuppa.
Oh, absolutely essential. A cup of tea.
Simple as that. Fancy a cuppa is probably heard millions of times a day.
Definitely. Or, I need a strong cuppa to wake me up.
Yeah. And come in, sit down, and I'll make you a cuppa. It's more than just the drink itself, though, isn't it?
Oh, for sure. It's about the ritual, the comfort, the social aspect.
Yeah.
Offering a cuppa is like offering a moment of connection.
Well put. Social glue. Okay, how about chin wag?
Another lovely word. A chat, basically.
A friendly conversation. Like, let's have a proper chin wag over lunch.
Or maybe, we had a long chinwag about old times.
Mm-hmm.
Suggests a nice, relaxed catch-up.
Yeah. And I bumped into Sue and had a quick chin wag. It really paints a picture of that easygoing social chat.
Emphasizes the casual nature, I think.
Right. Now, shifting gears a bit. Chat up.
Ah. So this means to flirt.
Yeah, actively trying to start something romantic. Like, he was trying to chat up the bartender all night.
Or giving advice. Don't just stand there, go chat her up.
Yeah, and He gave me his best lines while chatting me up. It's all about that attempt, isn't it? Making the move.
Exactly. The intention is clear.
Okay, now for one you probably want to avoid. Clangor.
Ooh. Yeah, not good. An embarrassing mistake.
A really noticeable one, like he dropped a clangor during the interview. Yikes.
Or that speech was going well until she dropped a clangor. You just know it derailed things.
Totally. And you really dropped a clangor calling her by the wrong name. Oh, the cringe.
You can feel the social awkwardness just from the word, can't you? A significant blunder.
Definitely. Then there's curtains, as in curtains for someone or something.
Sounds dramatic. And it is. It means the end. Ruin.
Yeah, like if we lose this match, it's curtains for the season. Game over.
Or when the funding stopped, it was curtains for the project. Very final.
And it's curtains for him if the boss finds out. It implies serious negative consequences.
A strong sense of finality, yeah. Nothing more to be done.
Okay, last one on our C list. Crumpet.
Right. Now, this one needs a bit of a warning label, perhaps.
It does. Our notes say it's quite old-fashioned. It used to mean an attractive person.
But it's dated and can definitely come across as sexist now.
Yeah. The examples show that he was always chasing Crumpet at the club. Sounds very of its time.
And back in the 70s, people called models Top Crumpet. You wouldn't hear that now.
No way. Or the tabloids were full of Toddy and Crumpet back then. It really shows how language and social attitudes change, doesn't it?
Absolutely. A really clear example of language evolution. What was acceptable then just isn't now.
So, wow, that was quite a tour through the seas.
From chuff to clangor to crumpet.
Yeah.
Quite the range.
Yeah, positive, negative, funny, serious. It covers a lot.
And it gives you a real kind of snapshot into British ways of speaking, the nuances.
Definitely. This whole deep dive, it just makes you think, doesn't it, about how language works, how it reflects culture.
And how it changes.
Exactly. Makes you wonder, what slang are we using right now that people will look back on in, say, 50 years and think, wow, did they really say that?
That's a fascinating thought. Language is always moving, always evolving. It's alive.
A great point to end on. Food for thought for everyone listening.
Keep practicing, keep improving. See you in the next lesson. Subscribe for more. Welcome to Simply English, making English easy with quick tips.
Welcome to the deep dive.
Hello.
Right. So here's where we take those sources you send us, dive in, and pull out the really interesting bits, the insights.
The gems, you can tell.
Exactly. Today we're getting into something pretty fun, a corner of the English language, British slang.
Specifically, words starting with the letter D. We've got this document, British slangs starting with D PDF.
Yeah, and our plan is basically to give you a quick run through, but, a proper look at these terms.
See how they're used, maybe what they tell us about the culture.
Without making your head spin. And there's quite a variety in here, actually. Hints of everyday life.
Should be interesting.
Okay, let's jump straight in. First up, a word maybe quite a few people know. Dodgy.
Dodgy. So the definition is suspicious, untrustworthy, or just, poor quality.
Right.
What's really interesting, I think, is how it's sort of vague but also quite specific. That it implies something's just off.
Yeah, like instinctively off.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The document gives some good examples, like, that takeaway looks a bit dodgy. I'm not sure we should eat it.
Yeah. It's more than just saying it looks bad, isn't it? It's like warning, potential danger.
Precisely. There's a risk implied.
Okay, then there's he bought a dodgy phone online that stopped working in a week.
So here, dodgy is about, well, unreliability, poor quality, maybe even a bit of a scam involved.
You feel like you've been had.
You do. And the third one, the wiring in this house seems a bit dodgy, better get it checked.
Right, that goes beyond just poor quality into, like, potential hazard territory.
Definitely. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Is there something about, I don't know, the British experience with variable quality sometimes that makes this word so useful?
That's a really interesting thought, like a handy little word for be careful.
Covers a lot of ground.
Okay, let's move on. Next up, dosh.
Dosh. Yeah, this one's pretty straightforward.
Just means money, right?
Yep, money. Cash. The examples show how casual it is, like, I'm short on dosh this month, so no fancy dinners.
Very common, very informal. You wouldn't say that in a bank meeting.
Huh. Definitely not. Sets a very relaxed tone.
And then, she made loads of dosh selling her handmade crafts.
Again, informal. A bit playful, maybe, saying she earned a decent amount.
It's funny how we get these casual words for something so important.
Isn't it? Slang often crops up around everyday things. Money, feelings. And the last one, he lost all his dosh at the horse races.
Yeah, firmly in that informal chat territory, talking about luck, chance.
Exactly, the less formal course of life.
Absolutely. Okay, next, daft. This feels quite British somehow.
It does, doesn't it? Daft. Means silly or foolish, but often with a sort of gentler feel, more forgiving.
Right, like the first example, don't be daft, of course you can do it.
See, it's almost encouraging there, like saying you're being unnecessarily negative.
Yeah, a gentle push, not really a criticism.
Exactly. Then he made a daft mistake on the test, but still passed.
So a minor error, something you might even laugh about later. Not serious.
Right. And the last one. That was a daft thing to say in front of your boss.
Ooh, yeah, a social blunder. Tactless, maybe, but probably not meant badly.
It taps into that perhaps British tendency for understatement, avoiding really harsh words sometimes.
That makes sense. Okay, so from the relatively gentle daft to, well, maybe something a bit sharper. Div.
Yes, div, defined as a foolish or silly person. So it's directed at someone.
Ah, right. The examples seem more direct.
They do. You forgot your wallet again, you absolute div. That's pretty blunt.
Yeah. No mistaking that one. Calling someone out.
Definitely a sharper edge than daft.
And the second, stop acting like a div and help me with this.
Again, quite forceful, telling someone to, stop messing about and be useful.
But then there's a third example that softens it a bit.
Yeah, he's a bit of a div, but he means well, which is interesting, right?
It is. It acknowledges the foolishness, but also the good intention.
A very human kind of assessment, really. Flawed, but okay underneath.
That's a great distinction. All right, moving to something that sounds cheerier.
Dawdle. I like the sound of this one.
Dawdle. Yeah, it means something very easy. And the examples really nail this. That maths test was a dawdle.
You can just hear the relief. Wish all tests were dawdles.
Don't we all?
Yeah.
Then learning to use the new phone was a dawdle.
Suggests it was surprisingly simple, straightforward, good design maybe.
Could be. And compared to last week, today's job was a dawdle.
Ah, the contrast. Emphasizes just how easy today felt compared to something tough before.
It's all about that feeling of effortless completion. No sweat.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, so the opposite of a dawdle. When things go wrong, let's talk about duff.
Duff, right, meaning broken, useless, not working properly.
Pretty clear.
Yeah. Examples cover a few things. This DVD's duff. It won't even play. Straightforward malfunction. It's kaput.
So annoying when that happens. And the second one, he bought a duff pair of headphones that stopped working after a day. Right. Similar to the dodgy phone, maybe. But duff feels more focused on it being actually broken, non-functional.
Ah, okay. So dodgy might fail, but duff has failed.
That's a good way to put it, I think.
Yeah.
Duff is more definitive. It's already stopped working. Like last example, I think the remote's gone duff again.
Again, suggests it's a common occurrence, a familiar state of uselessness for that poor remote.
Exactly. Giving up the ghost, as they say.
Right. Okay, now for some more. Colorful imagery. Dog's dinner.
Oh, dog's dinner is brilliant. Such a vivid phrase.
It really is. What's the official meaning?
A complete mess or failure, the first example. She made a dog's dinner of her speech.
Oh, dear. You just picture scattered notes, stumbling words, total chaos.
You do. The whole messy shebang. Or, his outfit was a right dog's dinner. Nothing matched.
Huh. Yeah, it brings to mind clashing colors, weird combinations, much better than just saying badly dressed.
So much more descriptive. And the third, the website redesign turned into a dog's dinner.
So a project gone totally wrong, disorganized, ineffective, probably looked awful too.
A wonderfully visual way to describe a complete foul-up.
It really sticks in your head, doesn't it? Okay, let's flip completely. The other end of the scale, dead chuffed.
Ah, dead chuffed, meaning extremely pleased or proud.
And the dead part really amps it up.
Oh, absolutely. It's a strong intensifier. Like, I was dead chuffed when I passed my driving test.
You can just feel the joy radiating off them. Pure elation.
You really can. Or she was dead chuffed to be chosen as the team leader.
Yeah, that implies real pride, recognition, a proper confidence boost.
Exactly. And they were dead chuffed with how the party turned out. So, like, collective satisfaction.
It's interesting you mentioned understatement before. This feels like the opposite.
It does, which maybe makes it even more impactful when Brits do use something like dead chuffed to show strong positive feelings. It stands out.
I love that. Okay, next is daggered. This one has specific roots, right?
Yes, daggered.
Yep.
It's noted as British Caribbean slang, which has moved into wider UK urban use. It means extremely tired, worn out.
Like utterly exhausted.
Totally. After the double shift, I was completely daggered. It just conveys that bone-deep weariness after hard work.
You can picture someone just collapsing, and he looked daggered after running that marathon.
Yep, another clear image of physical depletion. More than just tired, like you're running on empty.
Completely drained.
Uh-huh. And I'm too daggered to go out tonight, just need my bed. A feeling many of us know.
Oh, yes. It's a great example of how language travels and gets adopted, isn't it? And enriches the vocabulary.
Definitely. Words carry their history with them.
Okay, now for something maybe a bit more whimsical, dingo's breakfast.
Haha, yes, dingo's breakfast. It's a humorous one. Means, well, nothing to eat.
Nothing at all.
Pretty much. The document notes it's rare, often self-deprecating. The literal meaning is supposedly a drink of water and a look around.
Right. Captures that feeling of having absolutely zero for breakfast.
It does. The examples play on this. I got up late and had a dingo's breakfast before heading out.
Just a funny way of saying skipped breakfast in a rush. That image of frantically leaving on an empty stomach.
Totally. Or, we were so broke we had a dingo's breakfast for days. Using that sort of dark humor, maybe.
Making light of a tough situation.
Exactly, which some might say is quite a British trait. And the last one, he offered me a dingo's breakfast. How generous.
Pure sarcasm. Pointing out there was no actual offer of food.
It's a clever little phrase. Relies on you knowing the implied meaning.
It is. Right. Another one with origins outside the UK.
Drongo. Drongo.
Oh.
Means an idiot or fool. And yeah, it's flagged as borrowed from Australian slang, but used in parts of the UK.
How's it used?
Examples like, only a drongo would try that shortcut. It's pretty dismissive, isn't it? Calling someone foolish for doing something obviously stupid.
You can almost hear the accompanying eye roll. And don't be a drongo, read the instructions first.
Yeah, more direct there. Almost like telling a kid off, stop being silly, pay attention.
And again, there's a softer version.
Seems so. He's a nice guy, but a bit of a drongo sometimes. Similar to what we saw with Div, right?
Yeah, acknowledging the foolishness, but separating it from their overall character. Maybe clumsy, but not bad.
Suggests someone perhaps a bit hapless, well-meaning, but prone to silly mistakes.
Okay, now Debs. This one sounds quite specific, too.
Yes, Debs. Irish and British slang. Short for debutante ball, originally.
Ah, the fancy coming out parties.
Exactly. But now used much more informally for things like school proms, fancy school dances.
So the meaning evolved.
It did. Like, are you getting a new dress for the Debs? Clearly about the formal clothes for that kind of big school event.
Instantly brings to mind end-of-school parties, the dresses, the suits.
And he looked sharp in his suit for the Debs last night. Focuses on that importance of dressing up.
And the social side.
Yep. Everyone's buzzing about who's going with who to the Debs. Captures all that excitement and teenage social drama.
It's fascinating how a word with aristocratic roots gets picked up for everyday school events.
Shows how language adapts, doesn't it? Becomes democratized.
Absolutely. Okay, last one on our list, donkey's years. Hear this one quite a lot.
Donkey's years, yes. Very common. Means a very long time.
And the examples really stress that length of time.
They do. I haven't seen him in donkey's years. Such a typical, slightly humorous way to say it's been ages.
The image of a donkey living a long life really works, doesn't it? More vivid than just a long time.
It really is. Or he's had that car for donkey's years. Suggests it's ancient. Proper vintage.
You picture something held together with tape.
Possibly.
No.
And it's been donkey's years since we went on a proper holiday. Expresses that feeling of a really significant time passing since something important.
Adds that colloquial charm.
It does.
That's quite a journey through the D's. From dodgy takeaways to being dead chuffed and having nothing but a dingo's breakfast.
Quite the range.
It really is. It's amazing how these slang terms give you such a vibrant snapshot of informal British chat and culture.
They really do offer a glimpse into everyday communication.
So, as you think about these words, maybe consider how slang evolves generally. What do these specific D words tell us? You know, about priorities, humor, anxieties even.
From the scarcity in dingo's breakfast to the social buzz around Debs.
Exactly. And maybe think about the slang in your own community too. What stories do those words tell?
It really makes you appreciate how language reflects and constantly reshapes our shared world.
Thanks for taking this deep dive with us. This has been the Depth Dive.
Keep practicing, keep improving. See you in the next lesson. Subscribe for more. Welcome to Simply English, making English easy with quick tips.
Welcome to the Deep Dive.
Hello.
This is where we take the sources you send us, the things you're actually curious about, and, well, we dig in and pull out the most interesting bits.
Sort of like a shortcut, yeah. So you get the key info without wading through everything.
Exactly. A shortcut to being informed without that feeling of overload. And for you, our listener, wanting to get up to speed quickly, we've got something fun today.
Oh, yeah. What's the source?
You sent us this PDF, British slang words, starting with EPDF.
Slang. Excellent. Always revealing.
Right. So our mission, if you will, is to dive into this list and uncover some of the more colorful, maybe memorable British slang terms that start with E.
And get a feel for what they really mean, beyond just a definition, the context, the vibe.
Precisely. When you might actually hear them.
It's amazing, isn't it, how much personality slang has? It tells you so much about, culture and connection. Way more punch than formal language sometimes.
Definitely. Okay, so we have this list. Quite a few E words here. Maybe we can group them to make it easier to get our heads around.
Good idea. Thematically.
Yeah. Let's maybe kick off with those moments when someone's being a bit silly. A bit daft.
Okay, foolishness, got it.
First one on the list here is Egypt.
Egypt. Yeah. Defined here as a silly or foolish person.
It sounds almost affectionate, or maybe just not too harsh.
I think that's right. It's often quite gentle, relatively speaking. Look at the examples. Don't listen to him. He's a total Egypt. It's dismissive, sure, but...
But not vicious.
Exactly. Then you'd have to be an Egypt to believe that story. Again, questioning judgment, but maybe not outright calling someone stupid.
Right, and the last one.
She called him an Egypt for forgetting her birthday. You can almost hear the tone there, can't you? It might even be said with a slight smile.
Yeah, more like a playful telling off. A bit of that British understatement, maybe?
Could be. A tut-tut rather than a full-blown insult.
Okay. So if you do act like an Egypt, you might end up getting an earful.
Ah, yes, an earful. The definition is a loud scolding or telling off.
This one feels less gentle.
Definitely. The examples make it clear. Mom gave me an earful for coming home late.
Oh, yeah. We've all been there, right?
I suspect so. Then he got an earful from his boss after missing the meeting. More serious context.
Higher stakes there.
Yeah. And the last one, expect an earful when she finds out. That one's got a real sense of impending doom, verbal doom.
Yeah, you just want to brace yourself. Okay, let's switch gears. Opposite end of the spectrum, when things are just simple, easy, we have easy peasy.
Easy peasy just means very easy. It even sounds light, doesn't it? The repetition.
It does. That test was easy peasy. You can hear the relief in that.
Or maybe a little boast.
Yeah.
And making toast, easy peasy. Take something mundane and makes it sound trivial, almost comically so.
Right. And the last one.
The instructions were easy peasy to follow, just emphasizing how simple it was. It's that reduplication thing, like teeny weeny makes it more informal, more emphatic.
It has a fun feel to it.
Yeah.
Okay, but what about when things are not easy peasy? When you're feeling a bit annoyed? That brings us to eggy.
Eggy. I like this one. Annoyed or grumpy?
It's concise.
It is. He gets eggy if he skips breakfast. Classic hangry symptom.
Probably relatable.
And she was feeling a bit eggy after the argument. Well, you just picture someone being a bit huffy.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's, don't get eggy, I was only joking. It's because someone's maybe a bit quick to get annoyed.
Yeah, easily wound up. Okay, let's take a little trip now. Geographically. Up north, apparently, for a couple of terms. First, A up.
A up, which is just hello, but specifically a Northern England greeting.
Right. The examples give a feel for it. Up, mate. Long time no see. Sounds very friendly and formal.
Very much so. Like bumping into someone you know well, then, hey up, what's going on here then? More inquisitive, but still casual.
And the last one.
Hey up, love, how's your mom doing? Shows that warmth, that community feel. Slang like this really roots language in a place, doesn't it? Like a local handshake.
It really is. Paints a picture.
Yep.
Now, staying with the everyday elastic band.
Elastic band, yes, means rubber band.
Not much hidden meaning there.
Nope. Pretty straightforward. I need an elastic band to tie this bundle. Purely functional.
The postman left the mail tied with an elastic band. Just an observation.
And be careful. The elastic band might snap. A little warning. It's a good reminder that slang isn't always clever wordplay. Sometimes it's just the common term used in a particular region or by a group.
Good point.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about money. Something most of us think about. We've got a few E words here. First, earner.
Earner, meaning a way to make money.
The examples show different ways it's used. That gig's a nice little earner on weekends. Sounds like a good side hustle.
Yeah, something reliable, maybe enjoyable. Then he's got a few earners on the side. Suggests multiple income streams, maybe a bit entrepreneurial.
Or maybe a bit dodgy, depending on the context.
Could be. And selling cakes became her main earner.
Yeah.
So the primary source of income is just a casual way to talk about jobs or making money.
Makes sense. And sticking with money, extras.
Extras, simply tips or extra money.
Again, pretty clear. He made some extras doing overtime. That bit on top of the salary.
Right. Or the waiter earned good extras tonight. Very common in hospitality.
And it's a tight job, but the extras help. Shows how important that extra bit can be.
Absolutely. Especially if the basic pay isn't great.
But money isn't always about nice little earners or helpful extras, is it? Sometimes things cost a lot. Which leads us to eye-watering.
Ooh, eye-watering. I like the imagery. Shockingly expensive or extreme.
You can almost feel your eyes stinging at the price tag.
Exactly. The rent in London is eye-watering. I think many people would agree with that.
Sadly, yes. He paid an eye-watering price for those trainer. Emphasizes extravagance.
And the bill was eye-watering, but worth it. So incredibly expensive, but the value was there. It's interesting how languages create these vivid metaphors for high cost.
It really is. Okay, shifting gears now. Let's talk about intelligence or perceived intelligence.
Yeah.
Egghead.
Egghead means a very brainy or nerdy person.
It sounds a little dated.
Yeah.
Maybe slightly teasing.
It can be, yeah. Sometimes affectionate, sometimes gentle ribbing.
Mm-hmm.
He's a proper egghead. Always reading. Sort of a stereotype, isn't it?
A bit. Only the eggheads understood that lecture, highlighting intellectual difficulty.
And she's the class egghead, no doubt. Just stating perceived intelligence. It walks that line between admiration and, yeah, maybe a bit of teasing.
Okay, now let's tread carefully. The next one is effing.
Right. Effing, defined as a euphemism for the F word.
So a way to soften strong language.
Exactly. It allows you to express strong emotion without using the actual swear word, which might not be appropriate. He's always using effing this and that. Suggests habitual but slightly toned down swearing.
That effing car broke down again. You get the frustration, but it's milder.
And I'm so effing tired of this weather. Same thing. Venting but keeping it PG-13 maybe. It's a common linguistic trick, creating these stand-ins.
It is. Okay, moving to something very practical, especially in Britain, it seems. Toilet availability. Engaged.
Ah, yes. Engaged. Meaning occupied, often the toilet. Crucial vocabulary.
Absolutely. Is the loo engaged? The standard polite question.
Mm-hmm. I knocked, but it was engaged. The dreaded confirmation.
And wait your turn, the bathroom's engaged. Clear instructions, perhaps slightly impatient.
It's funny how basic needs generate their own specific slang, isn't it?
It really is. Now, the next one on the list is a bit different. XC.
XC, yes. This is listed as ecstasy party drug.
So just the informal term for it.
Right. It's street slang, essentially. The examples just show how the word is used. He got caught with an XC at the club, reporting something.
Some were dancing all night on XCs, describing a scene.
And they warned us about the dangers of XC use, mentioning risks. So the source is just neutrally presenting the term and its context.
Got it. Okay, moving to something hopefully lighter. Evicted, but used informally.
Yes, evicted, meaning kicked out, but often used jokingly. The humor is key here.
Right. Leave the dishes again and you'll be evicted. Clearly not a real threat of homelessness.
Probably not. More like a playful warning between housemates. Then, they evicted him from the group chat for spamming. A modern digital eviction.
Very 21st century.
And I felt evicted from the conversation.
Yeah.
Using it figuratively, meaning excluded, it shows how words stretch their meanings in slang.
They really do. Okay, now, when you want to absolutely stop a discussion, no more arguments, we have end of.
End of means that's final. Discussion is over. Very emphatic.
No ambiguity here. I'm not going end of. Full stop.
Absolutely non-negotiable. You broke the rule, end of story. Case closed.
And she made her point end of, signaling the topic is done. It's quite a powerful conversational stopper.
Very direct. Cuts off any further debate.
Definitely. Now, for something a bit more boastful, but maybe playfully so, eat your heart out.
Eat your heart out. A boastful phrase, yes. Often used with a bit of humor or friendly rivalry.
Like, I baked this cake, eat your heart out, Mary Berry. You're obviously joking, comparing yourself to a famous baker.
Exactly. Or, He's playing like Messi eat your heart out. High praise for someone delivered with swagger.
And just got a promotion, eat your heart out, waiters. A bit more direct, maybe, but still feels kind of tongue-in-cheek.
Often, yeah. There's usually a bit of a wink implied. It's not usually meant with real malice.
Good fun. Now, what if someone else is talking a lot? Maybe lecturing you. You might be getting an ear bashing.
Ear bashing, defined as a long or nagging lecture. Sounds unpleasant.
It does. I got a proper ear bashing from Mum. Again, the classic parental lecture scenario.
We're back to Mum giving earfuls and ear bashings.
Yeah.
And he gave me an ear bashing about my spending. A common topic for such lectures, perhaps?
Maybe. And expect an ear bashing if you're late again. A clear warning of a verbal onslaught.
Definitely something to avoid.
Let's hope we're not giving anyone an ear bashing with all these E words.
Hopefully not.
Let's switch to surprise. Another northern one, it seems. Ecky thump.
Ecky thump. Yes, an expression of surprise. Specifically northern, like, it's got that regional flavor.
The examples show it used as an interjection. Ecky thump. That was loud. Reacting to a sudden noise.
Ecky thump. Look at that cue. Expressing astonishment, maybe mild dismay.
And ecky thump, I nearly dropped it. Surprise caused by a near miss. These regional phrases really add character, don't they?
They absolutely do. A real tapestry of language.
Now, sometimes the surprise isn't a sound, but something you see. An eyeful.
Eyeful means something shocking or impressive to see. It can go either way.
Right. I got an eyeful of that bizarre outfit. That sounds more shocking, or maybe just striking.
Yeah. Whereas that view from the hill is a right eyeful. That's clearly impressive, beautiful.
And the last one, he walked in and got an eyeful. Oops. Suggests something embarrassing or unintentionally revealing was seen.
Definitely implies seeing maybe more than you bargained for.
Haha, indeed. Okay, last one on our E-list. It's about fairness. Even Stevens.
Even Stevens, meaning all equal or fair.
Nice and simple. We're even Stevens now, no more debts. Settling up, creating balance.
Exactly. Or let's split it even Stevens. Dividing something equally between people.
And it was a fair game ended even Stevens. Like a draw, a balanced outcome. It's just a clear, straightforward way to talk about equality in everyday situations.
Very useful phrase.
So there we have it. Phew. That was quite a tour through British slang, starting with E.
It really was. From being in Egypt to settling things even Stevens.
We've covered foolishness, greetings, money, surprise, all sorts. Hopefully, for you listening, this quick dive gave you a good flavor of this part of the language.
It shows how these informal words really do give you a window into the culture, doesn't it? You get a sense of humor, regional identity, how people navigate everyday stuff.
Yeah, you can almost hear the situations, the tone of voice. It's more than just the definition.
Much more. It's the nuance, the feeling behind the words.
Absolutely. Okay, so for our final thought for you to mull over, think about the informal language you use, the slang, the casual phrases in your own circles or community.
What do those words reveal?
Yeah, what do they say about your culture, how you connect with people? It's interesting to consider the power and, the stories hidden in everyday language.
Definitely food for thought.
Until our next deep dive.
Keep practicing, keep improving. See you in the next lesson. Subscribe for more. Welcome to Simply English, making English easy with quick tips.
All right, welcome to this deep dive. Language. It's always shifting, isn't it? Like a living thing.
Absolutely. Constantly changing, constantly evolving.
And it's so different from place to place. Even within, say, one country, you get all these regional quirks and slang terms popping up.
Totally. Little linguistic pockets everywhere, each with its own flavor.
So today, we're going to zero in on some of that, specifically some British slang. From across the pond, as they say.
Ah, yes. Always a fun topic. British slang can be quite colorful.
We've got this list, actually. A bunch of slang words, all starting with the letter G.
Okay, interesting focus. Just the G's.
Just the G's for this dive, yeah. And we're going to kind of unpack them, what they mean, how people actually use them.
And maybe get a bit of cultural insight, too. See what they tell us.
Exactly. A little peek into British culture, perhaps. Whether you watch British TV, or you're planning a trip, or maybe you're just, curious about words.
Sounds good. Where do we start?
Okay, first up is gob. The definition we have is simply mouth.
All right, gob. But it's rarely just a neutral word for mouth, is it? It's definitely informal.
Yeah, it feels a bit blunt, maybe even rude sometimes.
It can be, yeah. Think about those examples like, shut your gob and listen.
Ooh, yeah, you wouldn't say that politely.
Not really. Or, he's got a big gob, always mouthing off. That's not a compliment.
No, definitely not. It implies talking too much or saying annoying things.
Exactly. And watch your gob. That's a clear warning to be careful what you say.
So it's less about the physical mouth and more about the noise coming out of it or the attitude.
I think so. Especially the idea of a big gob. It paints a picture of someone loud, maybe indiscreet, maybe a bit obnoxious.
Interesting how a simple body part word gets loaded like that.
Language does that, doesn't it? Layers of meaning.
Okay, let's move to the next one. Gutted, defined as very disappointed.
Gutted. Yes, a classic. And very disappointed almost undersells it sometimes.
It feels stronger than that, doesn't it? Like really intensely disappointed.
Definitely. Look at the examples. I was gutted when I missed the concert. He's absolutely gutted about losing the job.
She was gutted that her team didn't win.
Yeah, it's more than just, oh, what a shame.
Absolutely. Think about the literal meaning to gut something is to, remove its insides.
Oh, right. Like gutting a fish.
Exactly. So it conveys that feeling of being completely emptied out, hollowed by disappointment. Such a visceral word.
Wow, yeah. That makes sense. A physical feeling for an emotional state. Powerful stuff.
Very descriptive.
Okay, next we have git, defined as a foolish or annoying person.
Right. Git. This one's quite common too.
Examples, don't be such a git, help me out here. Or, he's a right git when he drinks too much.
And that git cut me off in traffic.
So it's an insult, but how strong is it, really? It doesn't feel that harsh.
No, it's generally on the milder end of the
Often, yes. You might say it slightly affectionately to a friend who's being silly, like in the first example, but obviously context matters. Calling a stranger a git in traffic is definitely hostile.
Right. Tone and situation are key. Still, generally milder than some other insults you could choose.
Agreed. It occupies that space of mild annoyance, mostly.
Okay. Let's switch gears a bit. Grub, meaning food.
Grub. Simple, straightforward.
Let's get some grub. I'm starving. The pub does decent grub for cheap.
That was good grub compliments to the chef.
This one feels really casual and comforting, doesn't it?
It really does. Grub usually implies food that's unfussy, maybe hearty, satisfying. It's down to earth.
Like you said, pub grub is a perfect example. Not fine dining, but good, honest food.
Exactly. There's a warmth to it. It's familiar, unpretentious.
Makes you hungry just talking about it. Okay, next. Gobsmacked.
Ooh, another great one, meaning astonished.
I was gobsmacked when she won the award. He stood there completely gobsmacked.
I'm gobsmacked, you didn't tell me sooner?
This word is just so vivid. You can literally picture someone being gobsmacked.
Absolutely. Combines gob, which we now know is mouth, with smacked.
So, like, your mouth has been smacked open in surprise.
That's the image, yeah.
Yeah.
Utter astonishment, so surprised you're speechless, jaw hanging open.
It's brilliant. Such a perfect visual encapsulation of shock.
Really is a very effective piece of slang.
Okay, moving along. Geezer, defined as man, usually older.
Right. Geezer. This one's interesting because its connotation can vary quite a bit.
How so? The examples are, that geezer at the bar was telling stories all night. Seems neutral enough.
Ben, he's a proper East End geezer. That often has a specific, almost affectionate working-class London feel, like a character, maybe a bit rough around the edges, but...
Okay, I see. But then the last one, watch out for that dodgy geezer by the corner shop. That sounds negative.
Exactly. So geezer on its own just means man, maybe older, maybe younger, depending on context now, actually.
Yeah.
But it can range from affectionate or neutral.
To suspicious or derogatory, based on words like dodgy.
Precisely. Tone of voice, context, adjectives used with it, they all matter hugely for geezer. It's quite flexible.
Fascinating. Okay, next is gaff, meaning house or place.
Gaff. Very common, very informal.
Come round to my gaff later for drinks. That's a nice little gaff you've got here.
They threw a wild party at their new gaff.
Yeah, sounds super casual, like much friendlier than saying residence or even just house.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It implies comfort, relaxation, informality.
Yeah.
It's your place, your home, but in a very laid-back way. Inviting someone to your gaff feels welcoming.
Nice. Okay, then there's gas, meaning funny or entertaining.
Right. This one seems particularly common in Ireland, but used in Britain, too.
That comedian was pure gas last night. Your gas, you always crack me up.
The whole night was gas. We laughed so much.
It seems pretty direct. If something's gas, it's just really funny.
Pretty much. It's a straightforward way to say something, or someone is hilarious or highly amusing.
Is there a connection to, like, laughing gas, that lightheaded feeling?
That's an interesting thought. I don't know the exact etymology, but it could be linked metaphorically to that feeling of uncontrollable mirth, maybe. That light, bubbly feeling of finding something hilarious.
Could be. Okay, next. Gander, meaning look.
Have a gander, yeah.
Let's have a gander at the menu. Take a gander at this, you won't believe it.
I had a gander in the shop, but didn't buy anything.
So just a casual look, not like a serious inspection.
Exactly. It implies a quick, informal glance around. Often out of curiosity, like the shop example, just browsing.
Peeking almost.
Kind of, yeah. A relaxed, maybe slightly nosy look. Let me just have a quick gander.
Got it. All right, nearly through the G's. Grafter, defined as hard worker.
Ah, grafter. This one's usually a compliment.
He's a real grafter, never stops. Fair play, she's grafted hard for that success.
Only grafters survive in this business.
Yeah, it sounds very positive, praising diligence and effort.
Absolutely. To graft means to work hard. Often it's something physically demanding or difficult. So a grafter is someone admired for their work ethic and perseverance.
Like a badge of honor being called a grafter.
In many contexts, yes. It signifies respect for their hard work.
Okay. Then we have governor, sometimes shortened to gov, meaning boss or person in charge.
Yes, governor. Or often just gov.
Morning, governor. How's things? The governor gave us the afternoon off.
You'll have to check with the governor first.
This feels a bit old-fashioned, but respectful.
It does have a slightly dated feel sometimes, maybe like something out of an old film, as you said earlier. But it's still used. It's an informal but respectful way to address someone in charge, your boss, maybe a customer you serve regularly if you're a taxi driver, for instance.
So less formal than sir, but shows deference.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
A kind of working-class respect, often associated with London again, but used more widely, shows you know who's in charge, but in a familiar sort of way.
Right. Okay, last one from our list. The phrase, give us a bell, meaning call me.
Ah, give us a bell. Or give me a bell. Lovely phrase.
Give us a bell when you're free. I'll give you a bell tomorrow about the job.
Give us a bell later, we'll sort it out.
It definitely sounds a bit quaint now, with smartphones and all that, but charming.
It really is. It evokes the image of an old telephone bell ringing. It's informal, friendly, personal, much warmer than just saying, call me.
Yeah, it has a nice ring to it, excuse the pun.
Huh, indeed.
So, wow, that's quite a tour through just some of the G slang, from mouths and disappointment to houses and hard work.
It really shows the richness, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Even in one letter of the alphabet, you get such variety in meaning, tone, and imagery.
Absolutely. Things like gutted and gobsmacked are so incredibly visceral and descriptive.
And terms like geezer or governor hint at social structures and ways of showing respect or lack thereof.
It really makes you appreciate how slang isn't just random words. It reflects culture, attitudes, maybe even a bit of history.
Definitely. Slang is where language often feels most alive, most dynamic. It captures the immediate feelings and social nuances of its speakers.
And it makes you think, doesn't it? About all the other slang out there in different parts of the UK or different English-speaking countries or, well, anywhere in the world.
It does. What unique ways do other communities have of expressing surprise or annoyance or talking about food or home?
Maybe something for you, the listener, to ponder. Are there words like these where you live? Maybe have a little gander at your own local slang?
That's a great closing thought. Language is this vast, fascinating landscape, and slang offers some of the most interesting viewpoints.
Keep practicing, keep improving. See you in the next lesson. Subscribe.